Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today we are at the Niello company in Sacramento, California, and Ted, retention is the subject of the day today.
It certainly is, Sarah Vantine. Look at this all-star panel we have with us today. Derek Simonds from Numa is with us here in Sacramento. And of course, our great friend Tully Williams from the Niello company.
Thank you guys for coming. I'm super excited to have Derek here. Thank you so much for the visit.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Well, Tully, to kick things off, retention. It's the word on the street. It's the word here at the Niello company. In a market where customers have more choices than ever, how important is it and retention to the long-term health and growth of the organization?
You know, I believe that we're in the repeat and referral business, and that really drives retention. And one of our biggest fallbacks is we have is communication. We do an unbelievable job not answering the phone. And this is where our great partner over here at Numa can help us with that project, because if we lose that customer, we're not going to sell them in a cart, and they're not going to tell their friends and family to come back. Retention to us at the Niello company is the highest priority. We're at close to 71% retention as a group, and we have stores at 75% because we manage that and drive that. So Numa can help us drive that for those missing phone calls that gets people a little upset.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, Tully. One of the things that we've been tracking for the last 18 months is this idea we call it live CSI, right? And so every single communication, whether it's a phone call, text message, web chat, voicemail, whatever it is, our AI is actually analyzing that, and we're tracking that, looking for those potential defectors. We have this category that we call silent defection. Those are the people that never complain, but they're upset and they just don't come back.
Those are the worst, aren't they?
They're the worst. If they complain, that's almost a gift from car gods, because we can then resolve the problem, right?
Absolutely.
So when we track this over the last 18 months across over almost 1,500 dealerships now, what we see is that 33 people out of 1,000 are actually what we consider e-case. 33 people out of 1,000. So 33 out of 1,000 are the screamers. They're the ones that are like, I'm going to sue you. You know, I hate you. You guys are the worst. Those are the heat cases. What you don't see is that 97 out of 1,000 fall into that silent defection category. Yes. These are what we call embers. They're simmering. They're the ones that are going to burst into flames as soon as they get out of there. And who are they going to tell? Everybody, right? Everybody. And so what we do with the AI, to your point, is we're monitoring that communication and we escalate those to the appropriate people inside the dealership so that they can take care of it. When you look at that, if you can get that customer on the phone and you can resolve their issue, whatever it is, in a timely fashion, the customer is going to tell 8 to 10 people and they're going to return. We track this. The highest performing stores, the top quartile, are 65% resolution on e-cases and silent defection. And we see a 70% of those people have another RO within 6 months.
That is just incredible. When you think about the human element where AI helps the human, but really the human is the one that's going to actually resolve it with you helping us that. And that's the only one that looks at. What I always get worried about is AI trying to resolve the problem. And AI needs to help us, hey, this person you need help with, and then let the people that do it, our great service advisors, right? Our managers that are on the street every day making those resolutions. That is, to me, the key issue. And that's where you help the best.
Yeah, because the problem is your service managers don't know when they've got that silent defector. They don't know that that call came in yesterday at 3 o'clock and the advisor has never responded to them yet, right? And so now it's 18 plus hours later, that customer is percolating. That customer is about to become a heat case. But then they get a call, their car's ready, they come in, pick it up and leave. Look, we've done a ton of work with OEMs over the last 12 months and it's blown my mind. We looked at the customer satisfaction stuff, right? You can have a good repair and bad communication. Guess what happens? They don't come back.
They'll come back.
You can have a bad repair with good communication. They will return 100%. We also did an analysis. 80% of the negative reviews in a service drive on Google were based on lack of communication. It's always happened. We could go back and find where they called in or they complained and nobody responded to them.
And I think when you look at that, you ask yourself, why don't we answer the phone? Now, part of it is that, you know, I don't think it's, I don't want to answer the phone. It's because we overwork our service advisors. And 100%. I think that what we look at is that we look at quotas about how many hours can a service advisor really manage in a day. And if we can manage that, we can help this situation, because there's always going to be heat cases. I just don't need heat cases every day.
No, and you need to resolve. Let me hit this point real quick if you're going to change topics. Here's the other thing. When we have advisors on block schedules and we're doing 4 appointments every 15 minutes, no matter the complexity of the job, what are we setting ourselves up for?
Failure.
And the challenge we have today with the way that scheduling is done without AI is that's exactly what's happening. And so we have to look at this holistically from an advisor communication point of view and from an advisor workflow point of view.
Also, I think that is the most important. When you look at a service advisor, what is their job? Their job is to drive that repeat referral business. They're the ones that keep people in the service drive every day.
100%.
And anything that we can do to help an advisor, one, have great communication, because again, like you said, that's where the failure drops out. Even if it's a great customer and we don't call them back, there's a chance we'll never get them back in the door.
Right on.
The defective ones is the worst. They don't tell us the reason.
Derek, let's stay on this topic. When you think about customer retention,
Yes.
how much of it is influenced by the experience that happens over the phone before the customer ever arrives at the dealership?
I think that there is a large portion that's set up over the phone before they arrive, but I think the phone communication throughout the process is actually more important. One of the things that's interesting is that if you think about the people that interact with a customer on the phone, right? How many different systems do you have? You got a CRM.
Yep.
You got a DMS.
Yep.
If you got to look up a recall, it might not be in the DMS.
3 or 4 screens.
You got to have 3 or 4 screens. And so you actually, as the person, and we're talking about BDCs later today, but if your BDC agent is taking that call, they don't have access to all those screens. And so when I can't answer the questions or set us up for success in the service lane, we're in trouble, right? And so that's another challenge that we're seeing and that we're trying to identify ways to use AI to solve that problem. And I think there's a lot that can happen with that. I think that once that car is here, it's our responsibility, period, end of story, to communicate with them. We have to be the one to initiate it. We've talked about status updates ad nauseum, both of us have. Status updates, I think, are still the single biggest ill that we have, but holistically, it goes back to what we're talking about. The advisors are not bad people.
No.
They're not doing a status update because they're a bad person. They're doing it because they got a customer every 15 minutes. They got a technician sitting there going, Tully, did you sell a job? Tully, did you sell a job? I got the car going down in the bay, Tully. I can't do anything else, Tully. Did you sell a job? And you're like, oh my God, I got to sell that job. So then I try and get a hold of that customer. Now I'm playing phone tag. Don't speak to him. And I'm like, I need to call Ted and update him. And what happens? Another customer walks in to get ridden up.
And then they call back and they go in the phone tree and then they're lost forever. And then guess what happens? The technician takes the car off the rack, goes back in the parking lot, and the next car's in. The odds of getting that job done today are nil to none.
We just lost that opportunity.
I'm 100%.
Yeah, and that goes to opportunity cost as well, right? We're working with one of the major OEMs, and the thing that blew my mind is that today, right now, year to date, they're at 80% technician efficiency on an 8-hour workday, and they're at 40% bay efficiency. This is a major OEM that's very successful. When you look at that number, though, and you equate it back to communication drives efficiency. If we're not over communicating and making sure that our advisors are getting that communication to the customer in a timely fashion, we're never going to achieve those levels of efficiency we need.
100%. And I think that when you look at our technicians, we are about 13 to 14 hours per day per technician.
Yeah.
Our efficiency's out of rocks, but that's because I think we're limiting how much the service writer can do per day. They all want to do 1 million cars.
Yeah.
But you know what? If we can get them down to 8 to 10 ROs a day, max out, then the communication is better. Products like you help us out. We have a much better result. And guess what? They actually make more money for them and their families because people are going to say yes.
They do.
It's exciting, Ted. This is such an incredible conversation, and retention is at the heart of it.
That's right. And Derek Simonds at Numa, congratulations. You are making great strides in identifying a whole lot of things that we gotta be working on, and you are actively helping us.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Right?
Appreciate it.
I'm Ted Ings with Sarah Vantine. We are at the Niello Company at Porsche Sacramento with Derek Simonds and Tully Williams. We're going to be right back.